How would you assess how you're approaching this round of 16 game?
Yeah, we desperately want to win the game and not taking it lightly in any way. A home game, the opportunity to progress and then get to within 3 games of playing a final, I think is huge for us. And it's not easy to win a trophy in the context of a 30-team scramble over the course of the year. So we want to make sure that we really push, but we also balance the fact that we play a lot of games this month. And we, as I've said, are trying to take this period as a whole, in the sense that we are embarking on a month where we lose international players. You'd have seen yesterday that there's 5 now called up in the preliminary squad. So we want to make sure that we balance wanting to win this game, but also making sure that we've got enough players with minutes in their legs so that when they're called upon, they're good to go and good to contribute.
Last week you said it was almost natural to maybe put less emphasis on the Houston game, being on the road and such. Now you've got 4 games, 2 home games, Vancouver and Seattle. How do you sort of prioritize it?
Yeah, well, I think that does change the way we look at this game midweek for sure, because I feel like, as I explained, I won't labour the point, but going to Houston is difficult for many reasons. You can't guarantee that whatever you put out there is going to find a real spark. At home, that should be different. We should be able to guarantee that at least we have really good conditions to try and be the dominant team. We're obviously familiar with St. Louis. We know they're in a difficult moment. We want to make sure that we're able to at least do everything we can to capitalise on that and try and get that connection and energy with the crowd that is very obviously almost impossible to come by when you play an away game midweek. So of course that will weigh into how we think about the game and who we select. So I'm optimistic, but also I hope I've struck that sensible balance between what is good for this game and what is good for the group as a whole.
When you guys made changes at Houston, it was difficult to get anything going attack-wise. How do you try to rectify that when you kind of have a new makeshift kind of group?
Yeah, no, I mean, we will be, for sure, and I will make no secret about the fact we'll be much closer to what we would normally be, or have been when we've been in the rhythm of winning games, playing in the MLS. So the team that plays tomorrow won't be the team that played at Houston. And also I would sort of caveat that Houston performance with the fact that we didn't make it easy for the guys on that day. We put them in difficult positions. We put them in a context of them not having played together nor being with much rhythm. The team tomorrow will have much more rhythm and will be much more we'll be more likely to find that spark, I would say, with the team that we will select tomorrow. So I'm not worried in that sense.
Feels like the further forward Robin Lod and Joaquin Pereira sort of get in the attack, whether they're playing sort of the number 10 role, they affect the game more. They're almost better in that role.
Yeah.
How do you sort of make that happen if you're still going to have 2 strikers in there?
Yeah, well, we'll cross that bridge when it arrives. But I feel like one of the biggest differences that that sat beneath the performances recently have been the fact that we've been more secure on the ball. We've had longer spells of possession. We've had connected more passes. It has meant that we've been able to get Rob and Joaquin close to the number 9. We've been able to get the wing backs on the last line, and as I said after the game against St. Louis, I thought that was one where we really struck that balance between attacking quickly but doing so in such a way where we had short connections close to the ball. And once we've made 2 or 3 passes, the difference between 4 and 5 passes and 1 and 2 passes is huge. 4 and 5 means that you can get the wing backs where you want them. You can get Robin and Joaquin really closely connected with the number 9 and with one another, and that made a really big difference for us. So that, of course, is something we want to take forward.
What do you do as a coach when Kelvin is kind of on a few games without a goal?
Yeah, we've got to assure Kelvin that we feel he's on the right path. We feel the team will ultimately create enough for him over the course of the coming games for him to refine his form, and also push Kelvin to push himself and work hard, and that's not in any way to say that he doesn't, because he really does try and turn over every stone he possibly can to get himself into a good position, and it's striking the balance between that and also relaxing a little bit, because I think for goal scorers there's a certain pressure that builds after not scoring over the course of a number of games, and particularly when the team's doing well and the team is moving in the right direction. I'm sure, without speaking for him, he will feel an element of that, but everyone knows deep down what a good player is, and I'm sure once the team, and again Houston skews a little bit probably everyone's perception of him at the moment, because Houston was a game in which we created very little. Once he's playing in a team that creates, he'll be back to his best, I'm sure.
Only one second division team made it through to the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup. Does it hurt the competition when it's sort of a glorified league cup rather than a all divisions cup?
It's an interesting one. I actually don't know what the history is, what the norm is, how the balance is normally struck in this competition, but for sure they're the exciting days, aren't they, for the neutrals, and I can only use my sort of British-centric perspective, which is memories of my last game. One of my last games for Man United actually was away at Newport County, a very small Welsh club, and they're phenomenal days for the big clubs and the little clubs. So it's almost a shame, but we will only, from our perspective, tackle what's in front of us, I suppose.
What's Westfield done to put on the spot with you guys?
I think he's done really well over the course of his time here, both for the second team and for the first team. And obviously he's got a pretty unique set of characteristics that are very hard to come by. Presence, size, really good with the ball at his feet in terms of kicking distance, and a very steady character as well. So I've got absolutely no doubts when we put him into a situation that is certainly going to be more tough for him than anything he's encountered so far, that he'll be able to at least give himself a chance to thrive. And we're also considering that in the coming month we're going to lose Dane for between 3 and 5 or 6 games, and we want to make sure that between Al and Wessel we've got real strength in depth and real competition, and we obviously don't get caught in the position that we were in last year.